Hi, it's me, Vicky Marie, and in this video I'm going to tell you about Suzanne Morphew, and this is a lady who disappeared from her home in Colorado 3 years ago on Mother's Day. So her husband Brian said that she'd gone out for a bike ride on Mother's Day. I'm not making any comment. The only thing I would say is, remember, I'm always saying about special days, special events, things seem to happen, don't they? Christmas, birthdays, anniversaries, Super Bowl, football finals. This is Mother's Day. I think special events bring things almost to a, if there are any undercurrents in relationships, etc., they seem to sort of surface, don't they, when it's a special event. Valentine's Day, these sort of things. Now, no, we don't know yet what happened to Suzanne, but the police have been looking for Suzanne's body for 3 years, and they have found her body because they were actually looking for somebody else. So now, this is a recent story that's just come up, and I'm going to go into the details with you. But it's very important as well for her husband, Brian, who actually was arrested and charged with her murder. And then he was released and the charges were dropped, but they were charged without prejudice. So basically what that means is he could still be charged again depends on, maybe he's innocent. I don't know if he's guilty or innocent. I knew about this case because I've seen it on other true crime channels that I follow. I've seen it highlighted, like when he was arrested and when he was released, etc. And he may well be completely innocent. And the good thing about her remains being found is hopefully it will clear things up one way or the other. So she's been found not far from where they lived. And apparently she went out for a bike ride on Mother's Day. The bike has been found discarded in a ravine. And as I say, she has been found. Really, they were looking for somebody else. So let's have a look at some of the details. But before we do so, can I just say thank you everyone for subscribing, liking, being a member of my channel, supporting my channel in whatever way you do, even if it's just sitting watching the videos, even if it's trolling. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. Okay, let's first of all, we're going to look at the Mail online, which just for the nuts and bolts of it. So apparently her scattered remains. Now, often, we can't read too much into that because scattered remains are often, because animals, unfortunately, do tend to scatter remains of bodies that are just found out in the wilderness. But anyway, her scattered remains were found in a shallow grave in a remote desert field 40 minutes from her home. Her husband, Barry, says he's relieved she's been found and again protests his innocence. So, although I'm sure he is relieved, he must be, if he is innocent, he must also be sort of dreading it because he knows, God, we can't get away from Lawrence Fox. Let me just show a picture of Suzanne. This is Suzanne. And yeah, she vanished without a trace on May the 10th, 2020, after setting off from her home on a Mother's Day bike ride. Her bike was found later that same day in a ravine, and now her body has finally been found over 3 years later in Moffat, Saguache County, while investigators were probing a completely separate case. So we'll come down to the details. Let's just look, see where it says here. So yeah, so it's Salida. Her bike was found discarded in a ravine near her mountain home in Salida, 140 miles south of Denver. So, yeah, investigators have revealed that they found her scattered remains 50 miles from her bike in Moffat, Saguache County, where they were probing a completely separate case. She'd been buried in a shallow grave. The coroner called to the site said her bones then dispersed over the years. So, yeah, she was probably all together in the shallow grave. So no arrests have been made yet, but we're only on the 28th of September. The remains were located on the 22nd of September, though it was all only confirmed yesterday, I believe. Yeah, on Wednesday, the 27th. So a year after she disappeared in May 2021, her husband Barry Morphew was arrested and charged with murder, despite the fact they didn't have a body at the time. But last year, so it was only last year, the prosecutors dropped all charges and a judge sanctioned the district attorney's office for discovery violations, whatever that means. But the case was dismissed without prejudice despite objections from the defence. Because the thing is, if it's dismissed without prejudice, it means that he can be charged again. So it could still be refiled should new evidence come to light. And a source close to Barry Morphew told the US Sun they thought he would be completely exonerated. Well, the thing is, if he's innocent, good. Hopefully he will be completely exonerated. At the end of the day, somebody killed this poor woman. Somebody murdered her. And because if she was buried, she didn't bury herself. So somebody murdered her. So let's hope that they find the person. Okay, so this, here we've got a little sketch of the map of, so Denver is where he was supposedly when she vanished. This is the Morphew home in the middle here. The bike was found on County Road. And then now and the bike was found, I think, more or less immediately, I think. And the body has been found in a shallow grave in the remote desert near Moffat. And that makes you wonder if they were looking for an unrelated case. Maybe there's somebody, another death out there. And while that's what happened in the Gilgo Beach serial killings, they were looking actually for Shanann Gilbert, and in looking for her body, found all these other bodies, and her body is not thought to be connected with the Gilgo Beach murders, but because of looking for her, they found the other bodies. So yeah, he was, I don't know the details of where he said he was or what he was doing. Here's the family. So they've got two lovely daughters. They look very much like her. We're going to look at some interviews later. Shame, isn't it? I'm not sure how old she was. She looks if about 40 maybe. Anyway, so it's a relief but also a great sadness. So of course they will have been hoping for Suzanne to be found alive eventually, but probably the hopes as time went on, hopes of her being found alive were probably diminishing. So it is a relief to actually find out what happened to her. So we now know she's not alive, which we had been desperately hoping for, but we hope that Barry's name can be cleared because of the location where she was found and the timing of it all. So he was working in Broomfield, a suburb of Denver, roughly 150 miles from the family home at the time of his wife's disappearance, and the body was found even further away. The source added, "We are all in so much shock. Hopefully answers will be forthcoming." So he is currently suing for $15 million after he was arrested on suspicion of his wife's murder, only for the charges then to be dropped. So John Spezze, the Chaffee County Sheriff, said on Wednesday, "Whilst this case has garnered attention from around the world, it's touched our community and the Sheriff's office deeply. We have never stopped our investigation and will continue to follow all leads in the pursuit of justice for Suzanne." Although locating Suzanne's remains is a critical component of this investigation and for her family, we are left with many more questions than answers, and it would be a disservice to conduct a news conference at this time. So they're not about to do a news conference because they haven't got enough information yet, I presume. So the Colorado Bureau of Investigation has also refused to provide details about the discovery, but Tom Perrin, the coroner of Saguache County, said she was found in a remote, dry desert field of sagebrush and natural grasses south of Moffat. He was called to collect her remains on September 22nd, and he told the Denver Gazette it appeared her body had been buried in a shallow grave before the remains scattered. That would be with animals. So Barry Morphew, her husband, her next of kin, was told first, and who is Mormon Balzer? So that's Morphew's older sister, said this is a miracle. It was like looking for a needle in a haystack. Colorado is a vast and rugged place, and we have prayed that God would put light on where she is. We have been praying, and here we are today. It's a day of great sadness, but a day of celebration. She said the family still has unanswered questions. This is just a small little snippet, she added. A lot more will be revealed in time. We will be patient and trust the process. So she was reported missing on May the 10th with her bike, a 2020. Her bike was gone from the garage, and the bike was found later that day discarded down a ravine. 5 days later, her bike helmet was discovered on the side of a highway, less than half a mile from where her bike was found. No clothing, blood, or evidence of a struggle was found near the bike or the helmet. Her sunglasses and hydration backpack had been found inside her car, leading investigators to speculate that perhaps she never really went for a bike ride on the morning she vanished and instead staged a scene. So I wonder if that's why the suspicions cast on Barry. Suzanne's body has just been found on September the 22nd, 50 miles from her bike. Okay, so after Barry was charged with murder and the case against him progressed, authorities revealed intimate details about their married life. Suzanne had been having an affair with someone else that she met in high school, Jeff Libler, and Barry was signed up to online affair websites. When the case was still active, it was revealed that Suzanne, Barry and Libler appeared in the local paper together in 1985. Now, this is the husband, Barry Morphew, and these are the their two daughters. Mallory on the right and Macy on the left. Okay, so apparently a preliminary hearing in 2021, law enforcement officials presented to the court Suzanne's text messages with her lover in which she told him she had a fine night and she was looking at houses for sale. The court was then shown, when her husband came home from work that day, he found Suzanne sunbathing in the yard. She was sending pictures of herself to Libler via LinkedIn, which the couple had been using to communicate behind her husband's back. The court was then shown a photo of Suzanne that she had sent to Libler that day, which depicted her lying on her front in a bikini and smiling at her $1.3 million home. Barry would later tell investigators his wife looked drunk in that photo, which officials said was Suzanne's last proof of life. So the following day, Libler wished Suzanne happy Mother's Day, and he knew it would be a hard day for her because she missed her mother. Suzanne never replied. She was having treatment for cancer. So his last known text to Suzanne was sent on May the 11th, 2020, in which he offered her well wishes for her cancer treatment. That message also went unanswered. So I think we can surmise that something had happened to her by then. Now, she had survived 2 battles with Hodgkin's lymphoma. Now, I know a lot about that particular form of cancer because my ex-partner had that. It's got a very good survival rate. You know, it is a cancer that people tend to get when they're quite young. But it's got a good survival rate. My ex-partner, before he deleted himself, which is ironic really because he went on to then take his own life, but he battled with Hodgkin's lymphoma. If you've read my book, you'll know about that. And of course, I am serializing my book now, Confessions of a Spanish Teacher. I do talk about this cancer. Anyway, so this picture, and they all do look very happy there. This was on April the 19th, 2022, after the murder charges against him were dropped. This must have been when he was charged with murder. It was right in the middle of COVID, isn't it? Because he's got the mask on. That's probably his mugshot. You know, who knows? Who knows if he's guilty or not? Anyway, the hearing in 2021 also revealed that just days prior, Suzanne had texted her husband and signalled to him her intention to end their rocky marriage, which was marked by accusations of infidelity and abuse. "I'm done," Suzanne wrote to Barry on May the 6th. "I couldn't care less what you're up to and have been for years. We just need to figure this out civilly." Let's have a look at his eyes. Okay. It has been revealed that Suzanne suspected her husband had been unfaithful to her and even purchased a spy pen to snoop on him. Barry insisted to his wife he was not cheating on her, writing in one text, "I promise you, you are wrong about all the crazy thoughts about me. Why would I want another? Only a fool would stray from an angel like you." So police said the pair had a tumultuous marriage, with the suggestion being that he might have killed her out of jealousy or to stop her from filing for divorce. Well, of course, he may have done. We have to see what the evidence brings now, won't we? And I'm sure the police have got more things. We have to see what this discovery of the body, what this brings to the table. Anyway, last year the charges were suddenly dropped without prejudice by Assistant District Attorney Linda Stanley. And in May this year, Barry Morphew and his 2 daughters with Suzanne spoke to ABC News. We're going to watch a bit of that video. They said, so his daughters are supporting him. So his daughters are on his side. They don't think he had anything to do with it. They said Suzanne had made bad decisions because she was struggling with drugs and chemotherapy while battling Hodgkin's lymphoma. Well, yeah, it will have been a difficult thing she was going through. Let's just have a look at. We are going to look at the video. So he's 55. Here's Suzanne. You know, they look as happy as anything on that picture, don't it? Just shows you. That's just a photo from there. So Barry said his heart was broken when he found out his wife was having an affair. Oh, the lawsuit claims investigators and prosecutors withheld evidence of DNA from an alleged sex offender found in Suzanne's property. Oh, that's interesting. A lot to come out in this case. And Barry's defence team previously filed a lawsuit against 26 individuals in the investigation and prosecution of the case, alleging they intentionally withheld evidence found at the crime scene. What crime scene? What crime scene? Because there was no crime scene. She just disappeared. And they've only just found a body, so I'm a bit puzzled here. When they say the crime scene, they mean the house, I presume. Well, how was the house the crime scene? Let's let's have a look. Oh, this is the tearful video that he made to get his wife back, or for someone to. Let's have a look.
Oh, Suzanne, if anyone is out there that can hear this, that has you, please, we'll do whatever it takes to bring you back. We love you. We miss you. Your girls need you. No questions asked. However much they want, I will do whatever it takes to get you back. Honey, I love you. I want you back so bad.
What do you think? Anyway, this is when they got married? Yeah, this is. I'm just wondering why they put Morphew's accused of murdering his wife Suzanne. Right. Well, we didn't think it was Suzanne on the left in that picture. That's a beautiful picture. They look so young there. It's so sad. You know, whatever the truth, I don't know if he, you know, I think probably probabilities and statistics will probably indicate that it may well have been him that had something to do with it, but we have to find out. But it's so sad, isn't it, when you see this and there they are, they're so young, they're so happy, they've got their whole future in front of them and in love, and sometimes it just goes wrong. Well, it definitely did go wrong. Seen that. Yeah, that's them with the daughters. I think we've seen that. I think we've seen all the photos now. Okay. Any thoughts so far? Let me know. Anyway, he spoke out and said it's very hurtful to lose your reputation and your integrity. So this interview that we're just going to have a look, if I can, we'll have a little look at it. This was an interview this was after he'd been released, and it was after filing a $15 million lawsuit.
This morning, demands for justice for Suzanne Morphew, 3 years after the Colorado mom mysteriously vanished on Mother's Day in 2020. Authorities believe she is dead, her body never found, now officially classified a cold case.
Somebody in this community needs to keep her name out there.
Suzanne's husband, Barry, initially charged with first-degree murder and tampering with evidence, but those charges dropped just before his trial. Now Barry and his daughters, Macy and Mallory, are speaking exclusively to ABC News, claiming his life has been ruined by false accusations.
What have these last 3 years been like for you?
Very, very sad. Very confusing.
Just so traumatic. Like literally our worst nightmare.
Did you have anything to do with the disappearance of your wife?
Absolutely not. It's very hurtful to lose your reputation and your integrity.
Barry filing a $15 million civil suit against prosecutors, the sheriff, and several investigators.
So I know that 15 million is a huge number, but I don't think that, in my mind, that covers any of the damage that's happened to Barry and the girls.
I know he's innocent. And if they would just look for Suzanne outside of where they hypothesize Barry could have possibly buried her remains, they could find her.
His daughters standing by him.
You never had a shred of doubt once you heard the evidence from law enforcement against your dad?
I've never had a shred of doubt.
Not one.
Prosecutors say at the time they believed that they were close to finding Suzanne's body and dropped those charges against Barry, hoping for additional evidence. Authorities tell ABC News they still believe Barry Morphew could be involved in his wife's disappearance.
Yeah, so, I mean, his daughters, gosh, how difficult for them, isn't it? Imagine if your own father or mother is accused of killing your other parent. But they seem to be, yeah, they're obviously, they don't believe their dad could have done that. Oh, she looks very young there, doesn't she, bless her? Oh, So I don't know, but it seems like I did think when I heard that they dropped the charges, but without prejudice, it's like they dropped the charges then because they knew otherwise. The thing is, if he went to court and he was found not guilty, they can never try him again, can they? So this way of dropping the charges without prejudice meant that they do find more evidence. From what they were saying there, they were hoping to actually find her remains, and now they have. But you know, maybe his lawyer was right. Maybe they were too focused, because it seems like they found her when they've been looking for someone else, so maybe they were too focused on a certain area. Time will tell, hey?
And aren't ruling out future charges.
Law enforcement, the DAs, believed that they had their guy, and they believe that there's a mountain of evidence against you. There's just not Suzanne's body.
They're wrong. They've got tunnel vision, and they looked at one person, and they've got too much pride to say they're wrong and look somewhere else.
Oh, you know, it's possible, isn't it? But I do think it was strange earlier when they was referring to the crime scene, which I think probably what's happened is they found evidence at the home that she died at the home. Because otherwise, where is the crime scene? They're not going to have a crime scene. So I wonder if when they searched the house, etc., if they found specks of blood or, you know, some sort of reason to think that's where whatever happened.
Charges were dropped without prejudice, which means if authorities feel like there's more evidence, they could charge you again. Do you live with fear of that?
Well, I was innocent the first time they arrested me, so I'm sure it's possible. But I don't have anything to worry about. I've done nothing wrong.
Was there any indication before she disappeared that something was amiss?
No.
Did you observe any fights, arguments, disagreements between your mom and your dad that concerned you before?
No.
No. So gosh, it's quite spooky watching them actually, because they look like a perfect cross between him and her, don't they? And they're saying no. You know, is it just is it because he isn't guilty, and is that, or are they just, they can't accept that it's possible, or I cannot imagine how that would feel for them. I really can't.
Prosecutors offering texts which appear to show a strained marriage.
Because actually they've lost one parent, so they don't want to lose their dad as well. So, very difficult.
Suzanne referring to Barry as Jekyll and Hyde, and just before she disappeared, telling Barry, "I'm done." Suzanne confiding in a friend, "Macy and I had a very tough talk yesterday. She's weary of the tension here. She knows how he is toward me and almost begged me to divorce him. He's still pulling Mal in."
Yeah, so, well, from that then, so it's Macy's less, I'm not sure which one's Macy, as we're looking at the interview.
But Barry and his daughters deny the marriage was in trouble.
We had a wonderful life, wonderful marriage.
Yeah, he's shaking his head as he says we had a wonderful life, a wonderful marriage. Not we had a wonderful life, but you know, body language, even at body language experts, no one's an expert in body language. If only you could just see. I do think the way he's looking to the side there, he's imagining something.
She was just so loving and giving and such a good mother.
Before her disappearance.
Yeah, and I don't know. It seems strange that she went for a bike ride on Mother's Day then. You know, why would you go for a bike ride on Mother's Day? Wasn't she seeing the... I don't know.
Suzanne fighting cancer.
And I know that she was going through chemotherapy for the last couple of years before her disappearance. And I know she was going through some hard things and made some bad decisions.
What kind of bad decisions?
She was really having trouble with the chemotherapy, and
yeah, so she made some bad decisions. Here we are again, aren't we, where the person who's dead cannot say anything. So what is he thinking about there? Because he's looking away, he's thinking, he's remembering something.
The drugs.
Investigators also say she was involved with someone else.
When you found out that Suzanne was having an affair, what was your first thought?
My heart was broke. My heart was broken. I didn't believe.
There's no tears there. I don't know, you know, he's like sobbing, but no tears.
Leave it.
What's been the hardest part?
Just not having mom.
Yeah, because that's tears, you know. God, they're like twins, those two girls. He's giving her the side eye a bit.
Not knowing.
It's really difficult, especially because of the lack of closure we have.
And Barry Morphew has moved out of Colorado because he says the public and media scrutiny has been too much on him and his daughters. The Chaffee County Sheriff's Office and DA Linda Stanley both saying they cannot comment on pending litigation or on ongoing investigations. Bottom line here, guys, Suzanne is still missing.
Right. Well, of course, this was taken before she was found. So she has been found now. Well, I don't blame him for moving out of Colorado. It must be awful. Because, you know, probably everybody there thinks that he's done something. Unfortunately, statistics, probabilities, they tell us there is normally the partner. Because that's what the police say, isn't it? We start on the inside and then we work our way out. You know, unless there's any particular, obvious reason right from the beginning to think that it's been somebody else, you would definitely, of course, you would start with the partner. I expect her boyfriend, the one that she was texting, etc., he'll have been looked at. You know, they're the people that will be looked at first. But it is awful, you know, if he is innocent and he's been under those aspersions for all this time, how awful. He deserves his however many $1 million it is. If that's, you know, if genuinely he was innocent. Now, finding her remains has only got to be a good thing, hasn't it, to sort of get a resolution one way or the other. Let's just see, have I got an interview? I don't know if I've got an interview. Let me just see. They have spoken out. Oh, no, that was since the murder charges were dropped. That's, yeah, no, that's, we've already looked at all that, so we don't need to look at that one. Let's have a look at this one. Yeah, no, these interviews, they're all when they spoke out after the charges were dropped. I don't think there's any more information on the, hang on, what's this? Right, this might be a different interview. Let's see. Just seeing if I've got a different interview. That's just a picture, I think. Let's see. All right, I'll just have a look, maybe. Oh, where's it gone? I had a video there, now it's disappeared. So, look. No. Can't get it to come back up. Just a picture, so. Oh, hang on. No, let's see, what's that? Let's have a look at this just to see if it is any different. It may not be much different from the other one, but we'll have a look.
Speaking out with their father, Barry, for the first time since murder charges against him were dropped last month. Amy is here with the exclusive interview. Good morning, Amy.
Hey, good morning, Michael. For more than a year, a Colorado man was accused by state prosecutors of killing his wife, who out. And in the coming weeks, their attorney says,
Been silent for a long time, and
All right.
we decided that we for a long time, and we've decided that we finally want to break the silence.
This morning, just days.
Now, she's obviously changed the colour of her hair. She seems more, so the other one looks a little bit more, not quite as sure somehow. Let's see. Maybe I'm just imagining it.
We finally want to break the silence.
This morning, just days before the second anniversary of her disappearance, the family of Suzanne Morphew is speaking out for the first time since the murder charges against her husband were dropped.
It's been an emotional roller coaster, but we feel like we can finally take our first steps in healing, which is a blessing. And
yeah, this girl doesn't look quite as happy with her dad as the other one does. She looks like she's thinking something.
yeah, we just know our dad better than anyone else. And we know he was not involved in our mom's disappearance.
Well,
Mallory and Macy Morphew standing by their father, who investigators believe was responsible for their mother's disappearance 2 years ago. The three seen walking out of court arm in arm just moments after the charges against him were dropped.
We want to heal. We feel like we haven't been able to heal these past 2 years.
The family says Suzanne left her Colorado home for a bike ride, but never returned.
I just love my girls, and I love my wife, and I just want her to be found.
Well, he's got his way now. She's been found, so it'd be interesting to see how that reflects on everything.
But investigators told a different story, arresting Barry Morphew. The charges ranging from first-degree murder to tampering with physical evidence. Prosecutors
Yeah, first-degree murder and tampering with physical evidence.
argued that Morphew discovered his wife was having an affair, then murdered her, disposed of her body, and staged a bike crash in a rural area. Releasing this body camera footage from the hours after she was reported missing, police saying Morphew touched evidence.
Hey, could you not touch the bike with your hands, please?
Ah, right, he touched the bike.
Morphew's daughters say he isn't a killer and are celebrating the dismissal of the case, now demanding District Attorney Linda Stanley should do more.
I just hope that Linda will step up to the plate and do everything she can to find our mom, because what they've done is not fair. And we're never going to stop looking for our mom.
So, what do you think? Let me know in comments. There's a little bit to go yet, but I'll be very interested.
Court filings say that while authorities are close to discovering Suzanne's body, weather has complicated the efforts. The location where Suzanne's body is believed to be has 5 feet of snow concealing it. But the family's attorney says authorities have mishandled the case and are planning to file.
Now that's interesting, isn't it? So they said that the place where they believe her body to be is covered in snow. So the mountains, and why would they believe her body was there? Is it from his phone? You know, from seeing where his phone went, or where his transport, whatever transport it's got. Is there some sort of sat nav on it that's been? Why would they say they are near finding it? And then it's been announced anyway that they found her when they were looking for someone else. But, you know, we don't know, do we?
File a complaint against the DA.
And if you want to honor Suzanne and you want to honor the daughters, go find Suzanne.
The DA's office telling ABC News they and law enforcement have been diligently searching for Suzanne Morphew since she was reported missing, and that they are continuing to do so.
Prosecutors need to be held responsible, and they need to pay for the damage they've caused to Barry, which is frankly nearly irreparable, because it's hard for anybody to believe that Barry is not who they claim he was.
Now, the family spoke out this weekend. It was Suzanne Morphew's birthday, and her daughters say, of course, they wished they were spending it with her. The charges against Barry Morphew were dismissed without prejudice, which means that if investigators do uncover new evidence, those charges can be filed again, Michael.
Yeah, And they have found new evidence. So they have found her body. It's been identified. I will definitely let you know any updates. For those of you like me, we like JLR Investigates. He's been looking at this case. Yeah. So let me know what you think. May do if you're watching this as I'm actually going to release it in a minute on the 28th of September. May do a little tarot card reading later about this in the members live. We see what the members want to do. And just for entertainment purposes only, just see what they say. And then it'd be interesting to see, will they go back and prosecute, arrest Barry again? Or is the fact that these remains have been found somewhere further away from where he was supposed to be, is that going to mean that they do have to look at somebody else for this crime? They didn't seem to be saying, when they released him, they didn't seem to be saying that they thought he was innocent. They seemed to be saying we haven't got enough evidence at the moment. So we'll see. Okay, so yeah, as I say, if you're watching on the 28th of September, I will be doing a members live stream later. Please join us if you want to become a member for €1.99 a month. And if not, no problem. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Please like the video if you have found it interesting. And yeah, have a look around. Lots of videos now on my channel. Maybe you'll enjoy some of the other content that I create. I hope so. But anyway, thank you so much for supporting me in whatever way you do. Remember to always live and love very wisely. And until I see you again, may your God go with you.